So welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living's Wednesday night Oasis. My name is Reverend Sally Bartholomew, and I'll be your host this evening. You might be asking yourself, what is a Wednesday night Oasis? Well, here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, we do what we call a satsang service. And we invite speakers to come in. Most often they'll speak to and reinforce the message that's shared on Sundays, but they'll come in and they'll share a message, share principles and practices of the science of mind. And our intention in these gatherings is for it to be intimate, for it to be interactive, and of course, for it to be rich. This year, the Centers for Spiritual Living, their annual theme is Living Everyday Wonder. And this is our final Wednesday night of the year 2022. The monthly theme for this month of December is community. And as I said, most Wednesday nights, the service builds upon the theme of the previous Sunday. And then last Sunday, Reverend Sunshine introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of Nativity 2.0. Later on, I'll place into the chat copies of two of the spiritual tools that she shared with us on Sunday. She labeled them Upgrade and Mirror. Now, if you are new to our community, and I don't necessarily see anyone new right now, but if you visit us in the recording and you're new to our community, please visit us on our homepage. It's www.oaklandcsl.org. You can go there to sign up for the Village newsletter. It has all the information about what's happening at the center in the coming week. And to sign up, all you do is go to the front page. You'll see the I'm new icon, and then you click on that. And in the lower left-hand corner of that page, you can submit your email address. And when you do, you'll begin receiving the Village newsletter conveniently in your email inbox every week. Now, during tonight's service, your connection will be muted, your voice, and we ask you to also mute or turn off your video. This helps to improve the quality of our recording and our transmission. Stay tuned all the way to the end of the service to receive special and important announcements. Right now, I am very happy to introduce our speaker this evening. She is Practitioner Susan Urquhart-Brown. And Susan has been serving the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living as a licensed practitioner since 2007. Actually, she and her husband, our meditator this evening, Christopher Brown, both became licensed in the same year. She'll be speaking on the topic of Nativity 2.0. Now, as we do with every organized event at the center, we like to open with prayer. So Susan, I'll hand it over to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be with you this evening. So let's just take a breath and close our eyes, going into that heart space, the warmth of the heart, that place of oneness, of love, the feeling tone of joy. All of the emotions that come from the heart are also part of being a human being, being a spiritual human being, and just being connected so closely with each other. And in our intimate service this evening, that is the case. We are here to explore and discover things together. And I am here to just offer some ideas So I am so grateful to be here. I know this is a blessing to have the service and to have each and every person here, and that we are all one with the one, with that beauty of the spirit that is everywhere present in every single precious moment. I am very grateful to know this. And please join with me in saying, and so it is. And I can hear you even though you're muted. So, good evening. So, I'm taking the take on the Nativity 2.0, kind of like the 2.0 of our computer programs, which is the new version of us. And since we are here, Nativity is the birth um, of the original nativity of Jesus. However, what we're all born, so here we are, and we are in a new year, continuing our our what we are up to in our lives. So I'm looking at it as a rebirth. So that's what we're going to kind of focus on. How are we becoming, and I will say a Susan 2.0, and each one of you as a 2.0, looking at what is calling to you. What is calling to you for this new year? This is a very, very special week where we actually focus on this kind of thing because we know that this year is ending and a brand new one is beginning. And so in doing that, I'm just inviting all of us to look into the new year freshly with new seeing, new listening, and new beingness. So one quote I'd like to, I'm just going to use one quote, and it's Ernest Holmes, and what he says is, "The Spirit can do for us only what it can do through us. Unless we are able to provide the consciousness, it can't make the gift. The power behind all things is without limit, but in working for us, it must work through us." And so this is such a beautiful practice that we have at the center. And so I'm just inviting you to begin listening for the sound of the genuine. You all know Howard Thurman, and that's the piece that I remember the most from him. And so I wanted to take you into an experience, but I want to show you, let you know what came up for me in listening within to see what is mine to be and do. And last year, I did the same thing. And when I went in and listened, I got a very big message that I wasn't expecting. And the message said, "Do a yoga retreat." Now, of course, that's in my head, but I wasn't thinking about that. That's what came. So my experience is when I go into prayer or meditation, I'm all about listening. And so this listening was a little bit of a surprise, but what surprised me is when it really feels right, I actually feel what I call a ka-ching. This is it. I'm going to do this. I don't know. It's a big do. I've never done one by myself. I definitely have done retreats. Christopher and I have. And I've done at least one retreat with another yoga teacher. But it's a very different thing when I'm thinking about offering this. And also, what happens is a little bit of fear shows up. I don't know if that happens for you when you decide to do something big, but it happens for me. And so the first thing that comes to me is, of course, nobody will come. Nobody will sign up. Then what? The other thing is I have to put myself on the line with some sort of venue with money. And then I said, okay, well, fine. I have done retreats before, so I know the possibilities. And so I really looked at that and I said, well, what's the very next thing I need to do? And I need to decide, well, where's this retreat going to be? It's wide open right now. So I went in again, and right away, Costa Rica came up. I don't know if any of you have been to Costa Rica, but it's a magnificent place. But the other word that came up really strongly was on the beach. So anyway, this retreat is happening next year, and it is in Costa Rica, and it is on a beautiful white sand beach. So yay. And people are coming. In fact, I think Reverend Jerry is coming with me. So all of us have these, when we go in, we hear something, and it's a calling. It doesn't have to be a retreat, anything super big, but we hear it. And it is ours to listen to see, is that for me in this moment? So, of course, one thing I really like to do is to have people share and be in a group, but I will set you up for that a little bit in a little bit. But some of you know that I am, obviously I'm doing a yoga retreat, so now you know I'm a yoga teacher, and I often have these thoughts come through when I'm either practicing yoga or meditating. And so I really listen to that. And so part of the 2.0 for Susan 2.0 right now is when I am meditating, what is coming through? I'm not orchestrating it. I'm ready. I'm here to deeply listen. So that's what I would like to invite you to experiment with this evening with me. One thing when we go in and we listen and we hear, we come up with what we call limitations. So when we go into our next, in a couple minutes in our breakout room, I will talk you into what we're doing there in your time there. And what usually comes up is fear, limitations, when something comes up like, wow, I really want to do this. However, it doesn't have to be a big thing. And the other thing is, it really helps you focus on what is up for you right now in this moment. So if you, Peter, would take us into, we are going to have a wonderful, wonderful partner. And so let's take us into partners. And I think I won't be a partner, but I want to talk you into it a little bit when we get into partners. So let's do that.
Susan, we won't be able to hear you once we're
Okay,
in.
well then put me in wherever.
You have to
I just thought of that. You won't be able to hear me.
no, so you have
So
to
let's go into partners.
Okay, I'm sending people to your rooms.
All right, thank you. I guess. Okay, back to gallery. All right. Well, what did you discover with your wonderful partner in sharing? Did you share anything about anything that was like a limiting belief or anything like that? I mean, just in case. So anyone want to share about that? Yes.
Judith, go ahead.
My limiting belief is that because I don't have a vehicle anymore, that I'm saying to myself that gets in the way of this and it gets in the way of that. And yet I chose at some point that I didn't want to be driving.
Hey,
I didn't want to have a vehicle. I could have when I got rid of my other car, but I didn't want to. That's a small way that I can be part of not damaging the earth. So, but the thing that I want to do for this year is just more singing, and it can be anyway. It can be singing with a couple of friends. It could be singing with a group, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a choir again.
so
And that's
Hmm.
that is really who I am. It's all about singing. And if I'm not doing it in one way or another, I am not living up to who I am really inside. So there's not any big thing in my way. There's just doing it and remembering that I said, this is who I am. And this is 2023 is
Mhm.
how I'm going to manifest it in different ways.
Great.
Yep.
And just remember, it takes only one step at a time.
That's it.
One step and then the next.
It is one step at a time. I'm gonna take that with me for a couple of days. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Okay, who else? Anybody else want to share? Nobody else had any limitations or anything come up?
Christopher,
Christopher.
Um, once I speak it out loud, then the limitations follow like cars behind a freight train engine. What I was looking at was wanting more of a grin. It's like returning to childhood experiences. What got me up in the morning as a child that really I wanted to get out into life. And the closest that comes right now is riding my bicycle out in nature, really by myself, and sort of being in nature, but sort of doing and being at the same time. There's a rhythm to it. And then, of course, then the resistance comes up, because that's something I could do, but I'm not doing it as much as I would like to, because it really serves me. And so again, I'm noticing that, oh, well, it's too cold, or it's raining, or, and all of that comes up where I should really finish my work, and then it's too dark. And so you get the limitations, but it's like, those are really excuses. Do I really want to do it? What is it that I really want to do? And if I really wanted to do it, I would do it. So I've got to look at that, how does my resistance serve me or make it okay not to do it? So there's a tricky little piece there I'm looking at.
Wonderful. Thank you. One of the things I want to mention is blessings. And so besides Christopher, there's two other blessings in my household that when I am, whatever I'm doing that's not really helping me out, is I have two cats, and I can go over and pet the cat. I can play with the cat, take them outside, just be with a fluffiness, and they are so real. My cat Bella, if she doesn't want me to be with her, that it's she'll just do a little nip. So she's very clear. So what are the other thing is, what do you see as blessings in your life when you are having a hard time with something? And so that's something to think about. And so I think you all shared something that you want to do, hopefully. And so is there anything in the way of you doing this? And so I would like you to think about that. Actually, people, I think right now it would be great to hear from each other because there's 11 of us. I'd love to hear what people have to say about what literally it's some sort of belief that stops you. So for me, it's like nobody's going to sign up. I can't do it, or um, anything like that. So, who would like to share? And sometimes it's a very similar limiting belief, no matter what the topic is. So, is anyone brave enough to speak up
Yeah.
in a group besides
Sally.
Christopher?
Actually, Christopher was my partner,
Oh, okay.
and we kind of touched on similar things. The
Mhm.
thing that gets in the way of my going out, and I'm into birding, so I was speaking to
Mhm.
birding, and the thing that gets in the way of my exploring birding and experiencing the awe and wonder of it, because that's really what I'm looking for, is that awe and wonder.
Mhm.
The thing that gets in the way is me, and it's oh, it's too cold. Oh, I'm just feeling too lazy. Oh, it's too wet. Oh, yeah, there aren't any birds out there. They're dumb. They're all dumb little excuses that seem to come up for me. And I recognize that on every single occasion, whether it was foggy or raining or what, when I did go, whether it's just across the street to the park with my binoculars or all the way over to Contra Loma, when I do go, I get that experience of awe and wonder.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I actually can share a similar thing that Christopher knows only too well. He's speaking about riding his bike. So we have electric bikes, and I think I think I've had him for 2 years. I think I finally feel like calls me Mary Poppins, going along on my electric bike. But I've actually got the speed going now too, and I'm not quite so nervous. And it's so much easier than a regular bike, but I just have this thing because the first time I rode it, I fell over and I broke my finger, and it was, anyway. But I just like Sally is saying, I would come up with all these excuses of why I couldn't ride the bike just then. It's too cold, it's too windy, it takes too long to get there. So I know we all have those in our lives. So I really appreciate you sharing that and bringing that up. Anyone else who wants to share a limiting belief, because that's really the next question. And I think it's kind of similar. It might be the same limiting belief that stops you in your tracks. So I think if we could do our 5-minute.
Constance wants to say something.
Oh, I didn't see who?
Constance,
Constance. Yes.
go ahead.
When we went into the small group, we didn't know we were supposed to be talking about limiting beliefs. So we talked about times we've been called.
Right.
And one of the things that both of us talked about, because I can get into that, the limiting beliefs, I can get into that. And what I've learned, and I try to catch myself from going down that rabbit hole very far. So for example, like right now, I'm developing an online painting class. And I've done the landing page, and I want to set it up for people to be able to pay me in a particular way. And and I've done a lot of research, and finally I just realized I need help. I don't know how to do this. I want to, instead of spending hours trying to figure it out, I'll pay someone to help me. And that person's not showing up yet. And so again, I could go through this rabbit hole of, well, there's something wrong with me. I'm not, but instead I've decided just to take it that it's a time of year, that person will show up when the time is right. And if they don't show up, then I'm not doing the right thing. So we both talked about that with Reverend Jerry and I, and we both talked about how by releasing the expectation that it keeps us, I mean, not that I don't do it, but that I, even like right now, I need to be exercising it. I'm not, but I also know that this is a really hard time of the year for me to do that and that it will pass. And seeing the light bulb come back.
Yes, wonderful. Wow, that's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is a good segue. I don't think we're going to go, we may not, did you say we ended in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or how much time do I have? I have a story.
15
Well, why
minutes.
don't you tell us your story? Because we, at 7:50, will transition into the,
Oh, 7:50. I thought I heard 7:40. But anyway, I did want to share a story about a boy who actually overcame a major limitation. So this was a prince, and he was born crippled of legs, crippled, and a little bit of, the spine being not straight. But he always knew he grew until he was, at 15, he took on this belief that he was going to be a tall, strong, boy by the time is 20. So this is his belief. So he asked the king, which the king could do because he's the prince, to make him a statue of himself, but not the way he looks right then. And the statue is standing erect with perfect posture, and it looks like he's talking, standing on a podium and talking to people, giving a speech or something. And so the boy falls in love with this statue of himself. So he goes there every day, not every other day, well, maybe every other, but he goes there a lot. And he just loves how he looks, and he goes, that's me. That I am growing into this. I am going to be this. Because he saw the possibility. And I don't know the extent of his crippledness, but because he believed in this case, he actually became this exactly like the statue. Tall, strong, erect. And this is something that amazed the king and amazed the people of the town, that he could just hold this and for no particular physical reason was able to see himself in that light and be that. And so I think what we and I do is look more at what isn't right than what is right, what is limiting as opposed to what the possibilities are. So I just wanted to take that 5-minute break to talk about if you came up with something that you wanted to do in 2023, kind of look at perhaps you have what's limiting belief about that, and just share that and just look at that. And then also, because of that, and you have somebody else to talk to, you could help each other figure out what their very next step is to make this what you'd like to do, like Constance shared about her painting class. So we can break out. So get a partner. What is it you want to do? What's that limiting belief that you would like to really release? And how can we go about releasing it to help each other in that? So can we go to the breakout rooms now?
Okay, see you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're we're back. What did you learn from your partner in our brief session? Anything else to share? Reverend Jerry.
What I learned, and I think what we learned, is that we of ourselves do nothing, that Spirit always guides the way, and that there's always something greater and grander than what we can humanly imagine in store for us, as long as we're willing to listen and to trust and to live in the mystery of it, just knowing that we're always being divinely guided.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so one last thing about, when you're doing something, that limiting belief is there. And do you want to can you just stop listening to it? I think you shared with each other some of the things that you did, but to be able to release, what helps me is to just pick the very next step. And then after that, what's the next step? And after that, and just and so if something's hard, there's a saying is, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So that's how we move forward in what if we want to manifest in our lives. So just one little last thing. If you have a limitation, get a partner and ask, what do you want to penetrate this belief? Is this the time? And listen for a yes or a no, and it'll pop up. And then listen sincerely. Is this the right timing? Listen. A yes or a no will pop up. So if it's yes, go for it. If it's no, not for right now. And if there's no answer, I guess you just wait till next week, perhaps, and that will be the time to move forward. So I think we're are we at the end? I believe we're at the end of our timing here. So I so appreciate everyone being here and sharing from your heart and just simply being who you are. And so that's all, folks, from me.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think, yes, you're welcome. Oh, well, let's give yourself a hug. I always like to do that. Give yourself a hug and then give everybody else a hug. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. What a wonderful evening and a wonderful opportunity for us to go within, see what 2023 might have in store for us, check out those limiting beliefs, and take the next steps. And sometimes the next step is just a breath.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yes.
There you go. All right. So I have some announcements to share with you this evening, and Peter's going to get our slides going. As he does that, I will bring forward my own notes. So we have this Sunday, January 1st of 2023, Senior Minister, Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman, will be leading us in a burning bowl ritual. The meditation starts at 10 a.m. and service begins at 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary. Join us there. And then next Wednesday, January 4th, the first Wednesday of the year, practitioner Doug Myers will present his ideas on our weekly theme of God is a Concept. Meditation will begin at 6:30 p.m. and service starts at 7 p.m. on Zoom. This, I believe it's Saturday morning, December 31st, the wee hour of 4 a.m., you are welcome to join the World Peace Meditation and other CSL folks from Centers for Spiritual Living on their Facebook page as we bring in the world peace for the year. And next we have the Compassionate Attention to Lost Ministry group that's meeting this Sunday, January 1st at 12:45 p.m. with a theme, More Love Than Pain. Please note that the new meeting place is in the prayer room at the back of the sanctuary. Next, the Spirit Treasure Bookstore is having a one-day sale this coming Sunday. They are clearing out the old to make way for the new. All inventory is 40% off. And while you're getting all the bargains, make sure to pick up your copy of the Living Out Loud Vision Board Calendar. Each calendar has weekly themes for the year 2023 and a space for you to write all your spiritual events throughout the year. All proceeds from the calendar go to the center. Applications for the Board of Trustees are due to Deborah Jackson by January 15th. If you're a member in good standing for 2 or more years and are interested in working with our new senior minister to guide the center, please contact Deborah Jackson for more information and to get an application. You can find her information on the Board of Trustees page on our website. It's under the About Us tab. We are continuing to fuel our pledge rocket through December. There's still time to add your star to our pledge page. Your pledge helps Reverend Sunshine and the board create a workable budget for 2023. Our rocket is rising higher. We've received more pledges. Make sure that you're on board. To fill in the online form, you click the donate meme on the homepage of our website, and then you'll be taken to the pledge campaign. Right now, we have 80 pledges, and we're at $174,088. Will you be the 81st pledge and bring us to $175,000? It just takes $20 a week to make this difference. Next, you can join practitioner Elena Hutchinson as she explores the realm of infinite possibilities, leading a book study based on the book, Even Mystics Have Bills to Pay. This is a Zoom class, and it meets on 4 Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., starting on January 7th. It's being offered for a love offering, and we invite you to go to the classes page to register. And then you'll get the Zoom link. Looks like we've got still the pledge slide up.
I can't change it. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. We will continue on with the announcements anyway. One more thing to tell you about, and that's the Women's Spiritual Transformation Group. It will be starting up again sometime in January. I don't know that we've decided on the dates yet, but Reverend Jerry Carter will be hosting the group again in 2023. More details will follow. So as always, for information on all that is going on at our Oakland Center, we invite you to visit our webpage, where you can find the contact details for our leadership team. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter, the Village News. And remember, you can also follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content that you'll only find by liking and subscribing to OCSL. Please like us and subscribe to OCSL today. So that's all the announcements for now. And what I'd like to do now is move into our giving time. And Peter, if you want to just stop the sharing, we can move forward without the slides. So in our giving time, what we like to do is put our hands on our hearts and take a moment to recognize that we are giving to the center from our hearts. I would say read our giving affirmation together, but we don't have the slide. So I invite you to simply listen as I speak an affirmation for giving. Recognizing that the divine love is me. I bless this offering. I bless all that give and all that receive through our offering. I am grateful for all of this and the more. And so it is.
So it is.
So we have many ways to give. I invite you to our website again and click the donate button there, and it'll show you the many ways: credit card, mail, Zelle, text, or the offering basket on Sundays. The website will show you that information. So this evening, we have so many people to thank. I'd like to thank our meditator, Christopher Brown, our speaker, Susan Urquhart-Brown, and of course, the team in the background, those folks that helped to support us through this whole process. We have our lead, Peter Gum. We have Alice Herndon on spotlighting and Sabrina Bolus on muting. And of course, myself as the host for the evening. And even in addition to that, we have Constance Chapman, who helps organize all of this information for us, and Reverend Sunshine Michelle, who supports us in her role as well. So I'd like to have us do a closing prayer, and I understand we're going to have Christopher Brown come forward to do our closing prayer. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, Christopher, come
All
on
right.
in.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sally. And another thank you for Susan and for coming forth with this whole topic. So let's take a breath together, kind of anchoring the whole evening and what has been stirred within. As we breathe into that stirring, as we breathe into that sanctuary of the heart that truly knows love, that knows connection, and that has experienced that this evening. We're so grateful for this opportunity to be together, to hear from one another, to share what is our calling and what is our limitation, knowing that our limitations are only a thought, that we're so much bigger than that. So I give thanks for this evening. I give thanks for everything that's transpired. As we go into the night, we bring this love with us. We bring it to our pillow and we rest so well. And with that and the more, I am grateful as we release by saying, and so it is.
And so
it is. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, everyone. So if you want to take a few minutes to turn on your cameras and say good evening, we can go ahead and stop the recording.